I think robotics has made me more outgoing. I think I used to be really shy and not really express what I'm feeling, and robotics has changed that.
I agree. Same thing for me, and I also think that robotics has kind of made me be the person that is always taking initiative and striving for something greater and never just settling for what I have.
So I think we can both agree that our favorite memory is volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club.
I think so. I think that's basically because we both love working with kids and we got to do that together, and being best friends is always a great opportunity. Like, everybody can actually agree with this when I say that robotics is really, really fun, and it's also really, really stressful. So I think overall my experience has been both stressful but worth it.
My experience on robotics has honestly changed my life.
What are you gonna miss the most?
My best friend.
Each other, also the people and the whole program, whether that's mentors, advisors, students. I think just all together, it's about the students and the people of the team.
I'm gonna miss the people the most. I've met a lot of new friends. I've met a lot of friends.
So there's a lot to remember from the last 4 years, but I guess one of the first things that I really remember is just coming down in the shop for the first time. We came down here, and there's the bandsaw right over there, and then we came down and they were just showing us around the shop, and it was kind of intimidating a little bit as a freshman walking into this giant room full of things that you don't even know what are. But looking at it now, it's home. It's just somewhere to be all the time. And so it's kind of weird to think back and think how different it is now. I've gotten a lot of experience in different fields on this team. I started off doing a lot of electronics and wiring, and so I just learned a lot about electronics my first few years, and that was really interesting. And then after that, I started doing computer science junior year. I started learning Java and everything like that. And then I spent my summer learning Java, and I came in here and started programming the robot. And it's just really cool to program the robot and then see it actually do what you want it to do. And it's amazing to type in everything into the computer and then actually see it run how you want it to. I think the thing I'm gonna miss the most is just hanging out with everyone and being around the shop and everything, because I came here every single day after school, and I'm gonna miss certain people especially, but others not at all.
She said it. Boom!
I think the biggest way that robotics has impacted my life is that it helped me figure out what I was going to major in. If I had never joined this, I probably would have never grown to have a passion for computer science and programming. But now, because of robotics, I have that passion and am going into that field.
Well, the 4 years has been a long time. It's given me a lot of time to get to know each tool, and especially the mill behind me. I started out not really knowing and being afraid of the mill, and now I think I'm pretty decent at it. Also helping out all the other teammates, like a new freshman, Enrique Arjona, that helped out a lot in learning how the mill works and also teaching me skills in being a leader and teaching skills as well. My favorite memory would have to be when we went to Davis. We went a couple days earlier, so we had time to hang out in San Francisco. So that was really relaxed and laid back regional for me. I don't think we got very far, but it was a lot of fun for me, and as well as all the other team members. I'd have to say my role model is either Mr. Chambers or Christian. Christian actually helped me a lot on teaching me the basics of the mill, and he gave me a lot of confidence in running the mill by myself. And another one of my role models would have to be Mr. Chambers. He actually helped me a lot. He taught me a lot of engineering skills, and he actually convinced me to go into mechanical engineering rather than aerospace because I told him what I wanted to do and what I wanted from the team. And he said, oh yeah, you definitely want to go into mechanical engineering, not aerospace. I'm gonna miss the Friday night dinners and Saturday night lunches. It's been a lot of fun just being around your teammates and not really being too stressed at that moment, but being stressed as soon as lunch ends or as soon as dinner ends.
My experience on this team has been nonetheless but memorable for both positive and negative reasons, but focusing more on the positive aspect is that this team has truly helped me decide as to what I want to do with my future, because I came into high school just as naive as everyone else. I had no idea as to what I wanted to do with my future. I thought I wanted to be an engineer, but then I worked downstairs for like 2 minutes and I realized that wasn't my calling. I came upstairs and then I initially did animation, and that I thought that was my calling, but flash forward 2 years that I'm working with outreach, and that truly is my calling as I see, because helping others, planning events and doing everything within that sort is something I have a lot of fun doing, and it has helped me decide that I want to work in public relations or be an event planner or something within that field when I grow up. And I just can't thank the team enough for helping me discover that I do have a passion for something and there is something that I can do happily for the rest of my life. I would have to say of all people that really impacted my experience in robotics would have to be my very first sub-team leader, Isaiah Chappell. I initially started off robotics being under the animation sub-team, and previously animation was known as a not so important sub-team, because the animation award was removed that year. But we still contributed and did everything, and he always made me along with the other members on our sub-team feel important, feel that we could do stuff. And he was an extremely funny person, so not only did he motivate me to do my best, but he also made every minute I was in here working an extremely funny one. And I just truly have to thank him for not only building up my confidence as a person just to let myself loose and be funny every once in a while, but also have to thank him for teaching me disciplines that I used over the years on the robotics team. Alright, aside from winning regionals during my time on the team, I would have to say that my favorite memory would have to be when I was recruiting students to join the public outreach sub-team. At the time, I was the sub-team leader from the 2014-2015 school year, so it was my duty to make sure we had members to join my sub-team. And at that time, it was myself and another student. And from there, we got about 5 or 6 freshmen to join. And although I did not carry on as lead for the remainder of the year, I worked along with them every single day during build season, during summer, during fall, all the time. And now I can say that those members on that sub-team were some of the best friends I've ever made on this robotics team. And I know that them being juniors next year, it's good knowing that everything they've gained from this team is allowing them to go further onto this team by getting new leadership positions or just doing what they want to do and doing their best at it. What I'm gonna miss most about this team is not having something to do. Since I started high school, I've had something to do with robotics. I've been doing stuff, I've been busy almost every day of my high school career. And now that the end is coming, I won't have stuff to do. So it's a blessing and a curse because I will have a lot of free time opened up, but that means that I won't have something I like to do to work on anymore. And I also won't get to use robotics as an excuse to get out of family events I don't want to go to or stuff like that. But just in general, I'm gonna miss having that feeling, knowing that I'm needed somewhere, that I have somewhere to go and somewhere where I have to be.
I think the most important thing I've learned from being on the team is who your role models are and who you look up to as a freshman and a sophomore. They affect you the most
when you're a junior and a senior, because if you look up to the wrong people, you're not going to be successful later on. And I was lucky enough to have people like Gabe and Jackie and Christian to look up to, so that pushed me to be on leadership and to take on everything that I did for the past couple of years. So my favorite memory for this year would have to be when we won the Entrepreneurship Award in LA, because it just showed me that everything that I've worked so hard for the past 3 years as CFO finally meant something to not only me, but to the team and everybody at that regional as well. So for the past 4 years, you really learn that this team gives you opportunities to learn things that you normally wouldn't in high school. Like as a freshman, I decided I wanted to be an engineer, and then 2 years later, I realized that engineering just isn't for me, and I've decided I want to go into business and all of these other things I wouldn't have known without being on this team. I think I'm gonna miss the people the most, because you're so used to being around everyone all the time. And I'm gonna miss being CFO, obviously, because I fell in love with everything that I do as CFO. And it's gonna be really weird to have free time and not be a part of this team anymore. Okay.